sit here. Bring them.
Well, speaking of our
I'll be
disappointment with
costumes.
sequels and the things that they offer and they don't offer and everything,
The DLCs you should be giving me.
from the makers of
Let him
Battlefield, from the makers of the Battlefield series, they've come out. EA.
Yeah.
They've said that they will continue to support Battlefield 3 after they launch Battlefield 4. Just because it has an incredible following and everything on the online multiplayer and yada yada yada.
That's not as nearly as bad because there are still people playing like Modern Warfare 2.
Halo 2 people were playing until the last day until they took down that final server, and even now, there are independently owned servers that are probably
I'm actually going to segue into a bigger issue, which is their
Segue.
other first-person shooter,
called
military shooter.
Medal of Honor?
Medal of Honor. Who they say has a completely different audience.
Pew pew headshot.
A different audience compared to Battlefield?
Yes.
I will agree with that.
How so?
Died.
Have you played both games?
I played a Medal of Honor game and I played a Battlefield game, but so.
Oh, okay. With the latest iterations of both of them, with Medal of Honor, you have a far more constricted multiplayer aspect, and these are both games that you buy for their multiplayer.
I'm going to ask you, have you played Bad Company 2?
I have.
Okay.
Bad Company 2 and everything has...
Have you played 3?
No.
Okay.
I've played 2. I wasn't able to play 3.
I was going to say, because I was a little shocked you said that, because if you actually played 3, it's a lot more like Modern Warfare, because 2, you had all these destructible environments and everything.
But even that, even compared to Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare compared to Battlefield 3 is, again, a completely different sphere of player. And let me break it down to you this way. Halo has its types, where you have your standard slayers, but you also have your big team matches, where rather than having 4 versus 4 or 6 versus 6, you have a 10 versus 10. And it's a completely different animal.
They actually put that in Modern
they put that in Modern Warfare.
I was saying Medal of Honor. They put that.
They put that in Medal of Honor. But Battlefield is another animal again on top of that. These maps are incredibly massive. You're playing over the course of almost a city.
But so that doesn't mean it's different.
No, the number of players that you have online and everything, and how chaotic things get, and how randomly you die. Just because you cannot see the person on your screen. They are that far away. It keeps track of the longest kills, and you actually have bullets. You have a physics engine for bullet droppage over distance.
They use the same physics engine.
They've programmed in bullets dropping over large distances because of the size of the maps.
They both use the same engine.
They use the same engine.
They both use Frostbite.
The map size and the amount of players per team and everything are two separate things between them. Battlefield 3 is huge comparatively, and it's a completely different experience when you
So
play.
it's just a smaller version of Battlefield.
It's a smaller version of Battlefield, but you'll find that the sort of gameplay that you get from it is very different.
It's the same gameplay.
No, it's not.
How is it not the same?
The buttons that you're pressing and everything in your control scheme are the same. I'm not denying that.
It's also a first-person shooter.
It's also a first-person shooter. I'm not denying that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, the attitude and everything that you have when you're playing this game, and the ways to die and the ways to play are vastly different between them.
You get shot.
No. Comparing, you have Medal of Honor where you have the tanks, you have a couple of small vehicles and everything, you have means of getting around and blowing things up, and then people run up to you, they strap on a pack and everything. Have you seen the Rened Zook video for Battlefield 3? Basically, as there is a ground war going on, there are dogfights happening with fighter jets. A guy basically just pulls up into the air because someone's locked onto him from behind. He jumps out of his jet, launches a rocket, blows up the one behind him, and grabs back onto his jet and gets back into the pilot seat and goes back in, and then he just goes on a strafing run on the people on the ground. And you have enough people on the ground, and the objectives are so different that you can have that gameplay. You will never find that in a Medal of Honor game. I defy you to find me a Medal of Honor game that has something even remotely close to that.
That's just one unique thing, and that's something you really have.
No, it's one unique thing that changes the entire attitude when you're playing online.
I doubt that very much, especially when I've seen a lot of online games.
Play a 4v4 match in Medal of Honor, and then play a big team battle where it's like a 12 versus 12, and you will feel the difference in the way that you play.
I
promise you.
I doubt
I
that
feel it
very
in
much.
Halo.
I never felt anything different when I played multiplayer in Halo. It was like every other first-person shooter.
No. You're comparing them directly to another first-person shooter. Compare a regular... Go home and play it tonight. Play a regular Team Slayer match, and then go into big team battle, and play a game with that. Because with a larger team, it can't be straight-up Slayer. You have other objectives and everything, which, again, yes, between first-person shooters that are all the same thing, oddball, territories, capture the flag, all of it, it's the same crap over and over again. I'm not denying that. Between games, but within the game, the way that you play,
Can I
and the way
ask
that
you
you approach
something?
it is different.
Why are they putting the Battlefield 4 beta inside the modern Medal of Honor Warfighter game?
The reason that they're doing that is to promote two products that it's basically promoting their own product within their own product. It's so that they don't have to pay for it.
So they can.
Hold on. So our argument was that these games are not alike. So why would they be promoting?
No,
the game?
I'm saying that they're for you
Two
do have a
different
different
audiences.
you have a
So
different
why are they
audience.
promoting?
Maybe not a completely different audience. I'll grant you that. Not a completely different audience,
can I
but there is differences in the audience.
So they're promoting themselves while they're promoting themselves.
No, they're promoting
Like
themselves
cancer.
while they're selling themselves.
Wait, is it
to the same audience?
Oh,
Well, it's essentially a hooker giving you her best friend's card, essentially.
But it's to the same audience, which was the initial argument you were trying to make.
But here's the difference. The hooker that's giving you the card is $30. The one that, and the friend that she's giving you the card for is $200.
So you have one that's bigger than the other. What's the big deal? It's
No,
still
no.
the same audience.
It's still the same audience, but what they're willing to do are two different things.
So what is
I don't
okay?
like
So
this
if
poker
Battlefield
analogy.
3 is for guys who like military
What
shooters,
can we use cancer?
what's
or
Medal of
AIDS?
Honor for?
Medal of Honor is for the crowd that's closer to the modern warfare crowd, where they're there to just have bragging rights, to go on a killing spree and everything, and just laugh.
Really?
About it.
That's not what they're saying for Medal of Honor.
Well, if they're
What they're saying for Medal of Honor is that
lying
it's-
to you.
Well, you saw the interview. According to for things for Medal of Honor, stop that.
I know you like that shrivel.
I'm gonna start
It's
putting
such a
that away.
simple thing.
Anyways, what they're saying for Medal of Honor is that it's a completely. They're saying the Michael Bay thing.
Oh, why?
That it's really awesome story. It's really authentic. It's realistic.
Fable.
I'm just saying that's what they're saying. They're not saying what you just said.
Yeah, then they're lying to you, and you're paying too much attention to the press briefings and not paying attention to
But
the
they're the
gaming
guys
history.
who own the game.
So what?
They're
I can promise you a thrilling epic for a 40K campaign, and I could just phone it in the night before.
I'm just saying that's
You shouldn't believe the press briefings when they're talking about their own product. Never believe it when they're hyping their own product.
You mean like
what
from
press
the,
briefings?
from
This is the
Zoom
creator
magazine?
of the game.
Of course he's
The
gonna hype
creator of
himself.
the game said, what about Fable?
He's
You'll
all
see
about
the
it.
trees grow, the seasons will change, you'll see yourself age in real time,
Okay,
the villagers around you will have families.
Peter Molyneux's like known for that.
Every game developer's known for that because all of them stretch the truth to some degree.
I think they're
All of them do. That's what shameless
The
self-promotion
guys who
is.
made Kane and Lynch totally admitted they made a bad
We
game.
promised people, we promised friends of ours that this would be the greatest thing to hit YouTube. What's happened? We've got like 30 views a video if we're lucky.
Hey,
I'm just saying. They said that it was for two different audiences, and then they started to market this game, the beta for it, which they announced before all of the Battlefield Premium stuff is even released, after you paid another $60 for a $60 game,
Which is hilarious.
which goes into our first argument, but anyways.
Yeah.
And then they're giving you the beta for it. The only way to get this beta is to buy Medal of Honor.
Yeah. So, essentially to get...
They're marketing the Medal of Honor to the Battlefield 4 people, and they're marketing Battlefield 4 to the Medal of Honor people.
you know.
So
this
they're
is
essentially
really
being... So essentially what they're doing is killing two birds with one stone.
This is
So,
really
because
weird.
the people that want that beta key just for Battlefield, because I know a couple of people that just play Battlefield. They don't like the smaller scale shooters because you have too many instances of a person camping in one location on the map, and because it's a smaller map, everyone's going to go through there. That you can easily.
These are very small instances. The broader scope.
No, these aren't small.
They are very
instances.
small. The
They
broad
change
scope
how
of
you
things-
play the game.
But the broad scope of things is that people who like military shooters
I'm
will
really
play other
sorry about
military
this.
shooters.
No, this is really familiar. I've done something like this. I'm just trying to remember the game. I think it was called Unlimited Saga, where if you really, really wanted the music video for Final Fantasy X-2, without the stupid credits on the side, right? And in Japanese, you buy Unlimited Saga.
Yeah. Well,
And it comes with the
actually, the argument that you're putting forward right now, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Super Smash Brothers, all of them are just 2D fighting games.
Yes, but all the people who like 2D fighting games will play those games.
There's some that will play
Plays.
one and not the other.
That's some, but not the majority.
But
King of Fighters.
When you have Medal of Honor selling 10 million copies, do you really think that the 10 million people that bought that weren't also people who bought Battlefield 3, which also sold a few million?
No.
No,
What I'm saying is just the
Yeah.
way that you have some within the fighting genre, you have some in the shooter genre.
That's some. That's not the majority that they're going
It doesn't
for.
matter. It upgrades their bottom line. And
But here's the
everything,
thing,
just a little bit.
selling 1 million copies does not matter. At Kingdoms of Amalur, sold almost 1.5 million copies.
They still went out of it. They didn't even pay the people that made that
Exactly.
game.
They need to sell 10 million as first-person shooters are known to do. And who are
Which
they
they
going to
will
market
do.
to?
Which
They're not
they-
going to
which they
market
will
to
do.
the market that they say it's for. They're going to market to the ones that they know it's for.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
but here's the thing. Exactly what you said before. You've got the Battlefield people purchasing a Medal of Honor game because they want Battlefield.
Because they're all military shooter guys.
You
They're
can't-
military
Military
shooters,
shooter guys
but
will
they're military
purchase all the
shooters of a
different
different. But they're military shooters of a different grade to one
They're
another.
slightly even
Modern Warfare.
even Call of Duty and Battlefield are not that different except for the scope of it.
And the scope of it is the only thing that makes the difference. But the thing is,
But
it
the
makes
core-
enough of a difference. The core gameplay is the same.
But
I'm not
even
denying
those
that.
even those giant rooms, they're not like
Is
people play for the competitive aspect of both of them. And even
Yes.
when I see the competitive aspects being played, it still devolves into the same thing.
This is
If it's an
really hard.
objective-based game, the guys defending are just going to sit up, camp in two areas, and wait for the guys to come in. The guys are just going to come in, try to take those guys out.
You know what makes this
And
discussion?
then
I've made my offer to.
And you know what? 90% of it is that game.
You know that this is what's making the discussion so difficult. They're both built on the same engine. It's the same
Yes.
problem I had like trying to explain to people that Mass Effect and Dead Space are not the same game. And,
Well, no, they're not.
but they're
Because
built on the same similar engine.
but they're not the
Obviously-
exact same. Like,
Yeah.
Medal of Honor and Battlefield are built on the exact same engine.
No, they're built on the same premise and everything.
No,
it's just
the
the
same
scope of
engine.
it's
It's the
different.
actual
No, no,
engine.
the same engine.
Yes, the engine is the same. But exactly what you were saying, Dead Space versus Mass Effect and everything, even if they're using the same engine, the fact of the matter is, it's a
different
vastly
games.
different game. The base premise is something
One's a
completely
horror
different.
survival game, the other's a sci-fi RPG game. Those are two different things.
Whereas
These
with
are the
this-
same game. They're
No,
the
no,
same genre.
They're the same genre, they're the same engine, but the scope of one is much larger than the
Only
other.
in one mode. That's nothing.
This
No, but
In the core
no,
game,
no, no,
they're
no,
the
no,
same.
no, 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 no.
no.
Within the campaign, the Battlefield campaigns are infamous for being short, making no sense, and being passed over.
And
Because the
you're
multiplayer is the one that you get Battlefield games
And you're
for.
telling me COD players don't take that single player campaign and start using it as a coaster because they have no use for it? And we know people like that.
Yeah, we do know people like that, but the fact of the matter is, they actually put a little bit more thought in it. You do have a campaign.
This is kind of odd.
But that's not the player base.
That's not the player base, but that's the focus of the game,
This is kind of odd.
and that does
That's
actually.
not the focus of the game.
No, it is.
The single player aspect of COD
With the
is
no.
secondary.
When you have the same engine and you have the same premise, why don't you make it of the same scope? Why don't you make it of the same scope as Battlefield 3 and offer people that huge scope of a city-wide war?
Because they put more money into Battlefield than they do into Medal of Honor.
Then the scope is going to be different, and you will have a difference.
It's also
in
different
audience.
people. One's DICE and one's the other guy.
You will have a difference in audience.
You're not going to have a difference. It's
You
the
do
same. it's the same audience for Battlefield and COD.
You know what?
I promise
There's
you
just
will
two.
have...
They're just divided.
Dear 30 viewers, would you like to tell us if you've bought both games or just one or the other? We can argue about it all day, but maybe
Actually, we can.
should
But
get-
I welcome you to do exactly what I just said. What I said to you earlier with Halo games. Play 5 games just on Team Slayer, and then play 5 games on Big Team Battle, and you will understand exactly what I'm saying.
Also, if you play one
One's just
fighting
gonna
game,
last
do you
longer.
play them all?
That's the scary part. It won't last longer.
This is kind of weird part. Do you think it lasts longer? Well, you guys can comment. And
Yes,
let us know.
please.
And even better.
On anything we've discussed, we want to hear your take on it.
Also, I guess this is my question then. Do you have any other games where because you bought one, you end up buying them all, whether they're from the same developers or they're from the same engine?
Gotcha.
Or
I don't
same
buy them all.
genre.
Same
I
genre.
guarantee you most RPG guys buy most of the different RPGs even though they're completely different. I know I did, and I'm an RPG guy.
I bought them
I bought everything from Legend of the Dragoon to Mass Effect. Kingdoms of Amalur, I bought them all.
I've almost picked up everything by Atlas. I'm getting there. So much Shin Megami Tensei.
I'm a bit of a storyline whore. I've got to have a good story to it and everything.
So
Which
you
is why
definitely don't play military shooters often.
No, I play a lot of the non-realistic shooters and everything simply because they actually pay a little bit more attention.
I agree with you. Non-realistic shooters where I think shooters should go towards. Hence why I like
Well, I
Halo
enjoy
more
it.
than COD.
Honestly,
I
I enjoy
like
them, but that being said, the
Chronicles.
Modern Warfare games, I've enjoyed the storyline in those, and Black Ops, I enjoyed the storyline too.
I kind
Oh.
of just like they're so. Meh.
I liked Fatal
That's fair
Frame a
enough.
lot, and the fact that it's been remade and been what's it called, Ghost Camera or something? No, Spirit Camera on the 3DS. It goes to show that it's a similar game, but not quite.
Yeah.
But that's because Nintendo doesn't own all of is it Koei or Konami? Anyway, one
Whichever.
day it's gonna
All I'm
buy it
saying is, if they're got 2 games, or sorry, if they got a game, it's like this other game they have.
It's the same engine.
Are they not?
It's not the same game.
But even
It is not the
same
audience
game.
the same between them.
Is not the audience the same? Like if I'm gonna market the guys to Battlefield, and I have this other military shooter, am I not gonna market to those guys who already like have a military shooter if they like the military shooter genre?
It's-
And I have this other series that is the same genre, am I not gonna market to them?
I think that's a question that the audience should answer because
It does come down
they
to
can try to market it all.
Well,
they
I think
want.
we should all give our answers, and I believe it's yes. But I have to ask you, Maya, if you like obviously the Japanese games like that, like
Yeah.
what it like.
There's
if
plenty
you,
of JRPGs that have been exactly the same thing one
Yeah,
after
but
the
You
other.
mean Disgaea? I love Disgaea. I just keep buying
But
it.
if the guys who made Disgaea had another, even though it's a completely different IP technically, but
You
if the
mean
same-
older games? I thought about it, but then the reason why I haven't ended up buying all of them is because I was like, you know what? It even has a Disgaea character DLC in that game because they know it's the same game, set in a
But
different universe. with a
Isn't the
different
only thing that
story.
preventing you from buying all those games is essentially just money?
Yeah. No,
But it-
actually no, that's not the real reason. The real reason is because I'm trying to fight it because inevitably I will want the DLC
Okay.
that give me the
But-
Disgaea characters. Then
and-
it won't be the game anymore. This is
But
the
and
point
don't
of the
they
story.
market those same games to the same audience?
Actually,
Like if they have 2 of the exact same
No.
genre and they're very similar.
actually no, because if one is a dating game, they'll end up marketing it towards like.
But that's a dating game, not
No, it's the exact same gameplay, exact same engine, but because there's romance, they'll end up marketing it toward women.
And
Which is twisted, but this is what they
No,
do
no,
in
no.
Japan.
But that is my point. Having one difference will make a difference in the player base.
But that's only a gender difference. Like Hakuoki. Hakuoki is everything you would find in one of those like dating sim games, right? And we're used to it being an all male.
Once again,
market.
that's a
But Hakuoki is geared towards women.
Yep.
that's a dating sim game.
It's not,
No.
but it's not marketed as a dating sim game. It's marketed as like what's it, missing persons case.
So it's marketed
your father-
completely differently.
Your father goes missing, so you cross-dress to join the Japanese police force because this is
But
ancient
Medal
Japan.
of Honor still marketed
No, no,
as a military
hold
shooter.
hold on a second. Hold on a
Yeah.
second. Fire Emblem. Actually, no. Metroid.
Yeah.
Versus Mega Man.
You mean Monster Hunter, which is technically Mega Man in 3D? They're marketed to, even though it's the same concept, it's essentially the same game, except one is marketed towards a casual audience, because Monster Hunter, you can get like 4 friends and play it anytime you want. it didn't pick up here as much, I guess, because we're more solitary in Canada. Why are we such solitary noobs?
Something about igloos and hibernation.
Once again, we're also going with the new modern warfighter.
Yeah.
We gotta see, does the new warfighter have the same scope as Battlefield?
If it does, then they're being idiots. But if it's what it's been for the last X amount of years, however many.
Well, we'll have to look at that, won't we?
Yes, we will.
You know what we
In
get?
fact, once this video is done, we're gonna look at that.
You know what you could do to get me playing? You add like Motoko from Ghost in the Shell into like any of the Modern Warfare games, and I'm sold. I'll be there because you have
Once again, that's
one
not like
purple
you're
hair
gonna
female
be-
character.
That ends up being
That's all
a
I need.
completely different game just because they're gonna have the little robots in there.
Yo, they'd be the best tanks. They're actually.
But once
just
again,
tanks.
that becomes a different game entirely.
Okay, fine, do it. Make me a Modern Warfare game featuring Ghost in the Shell.
No.
Why don't you just
Give me
make
a
mod it?
sniper.
No,
Give me the sniper.
give
I
us
love it.
skins. Give us skin packs that allow for that.
Yo,
No,
that'll be
they'll
even
never
better.
That's
go
all we
past the
need.
premium. Battlefield Premium
Oh
is
my
what they'll go
god,
towards.
make Ghost in the Shell, Tokyo,
Which is
what was it,
one of the biggest
2030,
scams I've ever seen.
2030 premium? I'm done, just give me that. I don't even care. My tanks can be all blue things that talk to you, and they upgrade to green ones that look slightly more close to what we have in IRL, but you know, close enough.
Yeah, but yeah, that's our discussion of our several topics
Studio
over the course of the
IG,
last,
give
I
them
think,
a
hour or so.
Something like that.
Yeah, feels like about that. So yeah, tell us what you think about anything that we've discussed. Leave your comments below. Like, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, all that fun stuff.
That's what I was mad about Mass Effect. I was like, I want to make Motoko. It's like futuristic, and I'm a bit of a cyborg. This is great. I can do this. But then Mass Effect 2 is like, nope, you can only be blonde. Close enough. Blonde and, what was it? The clear-eyed. That in the first movie.
Or?
Remember how she puppet masters the blonde chick, right? And then Motoko's the purple-haired chick.
Right.
In the first movie, I was like, oh, I'll settle for puppet master's face.
Okay.
Oh, not face, coloring. And I was like, oh no, I just made Claire. Never mind. They all look the same. Doesn't matter. Give me these type of faces.
You're
I'd be so
really,
happy.
you are really enjoying Mass Effect, aren't you?
I
It
am.
is.
It's same thing with Dragon Age. I love them
Once
both.
again, my argument is just they end up marketing to the same things. I think manga even does that when they have a shonen manga. Like we mentioned the Holy Trinity earlier. They're all marketed to the same people.
No, Naruto is actually marketed towards a younger audience. The author, is it Masashi Kishimoto? Recently he sat down, he's like, well guys, I actually originally marketed this towards people just coming out of middle school.
Originally.
So, originally for like ninth graders actually. Or equivalent of 10th graders because they're like 15 or in Japan,
Right.
rather than, yeah, so because at the time when he was writing it, he felt like
But what about One Piece?
all the publishers in One Piece is actually written for an older audience because the author is extremely well read. He throws in every literary.
I did not get that from One Piece.
Okay. If you look at One Piece, the first thing you think about is Treasure Island. It is a story about a kid who wants to be a pirate, and he'll do everything he can to become a pirate. There. And then next bit is, actually no, this should be a separate discussion where I talk about the literary merit of One Piece. And Bleach is just Bleach.
Bleach is just.
Well, no, but here's
But
the thing.
it's different audiences.
Take that.
Bleach
no,
is the artsy audience.
but you take all three of those, exactly what you were saying and everything. You take all three of those. You take Dragon Ball Z. You compare them, and it's essentially young protagonist or idiot protagonist.
It's a shonen. It's the shonen.
Yeah, gaining powers. Being beaten, gaining more power, being beaten, gaining more power.
It's the Bildungsroman. It is the Bildungsroman of youth coming through adolescence.
Yes, and despite that, there's no core difference between them, and yet you have people that read some and not all.
That's because
Some people do that.
Dragon
Some
Ball.
people do
Not
that,
the-
but that is
not
my
the
point.
majority.
But Dragon
Not
Ball,
the majority.
But that's the only thing they care about is
we're not talking about
matter.
Z and we're not
They-
talking about
no.
GT.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball.
That's the mistake you're making.
Dragon
You
Ball
don't do
itself
that.
is-
No, they don't.
Oh, Dragon Ball itself, we're not talking about GT or Z here. Dragon Ball itself is a Bildungsroman. It is a story of journeying.
Yeah.
And One Piece is in the same category. Naruto,
No,
not
it's
really.
not.
No.
Neither is Bleach.
What are you doing, Bleach? No, people who enjoy Dragon Ball actually adore One Piece, which is, I'm talking about the first Dragon Ball. Z, people who love Z adore Bleach.
And Naruto, yeah.
Yeah, and then Naruto is like a nice mix. It's right in the center. But the thing is that there's one factor that will make them all, that you can say is the audience that was geared toward for all three. All three are geared towards male audiences. They aren't geared towards adolescent women. Why? Well,
You
it
mean
wasn't.
like
It wasn't
how-
meant to be. It wasn't meant to be unisex. As you can say, shonen. Shonen itself means.
So they're geared
adolescent
towards
or-
easily the one majority demographic, which is male.
Which is male, in regards
Kind
to
of like
age.
a military shooter being geared towards the one broad scope that is people who like military shooters.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is 20% is still a fairly large amount when it's 20% of 3 million people.
When they care about the 10 million they want to sell it to, no.
What's 20% of 10 million?
I don't
That is
know.
a lot of people.
That's not. But if they got the
Probably
majority
should
and they
be,
lose the 20%, they're not.
No,
gonna care.
you're going to get the majority either way. No matter what you, no
But
matter
they're
what
only,
you release.
they're only
at
going to get that
Warcraft.
majority if they market it well.
Oh.
And who are they going to market it? How are they going to market it?
It's a shooter. It markets itself. for
Should we
God's
do a
sakes.
literary?
No, there are
merit
lots of shooters that
comics?
don't market well and they don't sell. Spec Ops: The Line is a third-person shooter.
Spec Ops: The Line is a unique IP.
This is never gonna end. Anyway.
Still a military shooter that didn't sell it.
Anyway.
No,
We can stop it here. You know.
yeah, we really should.
Yeah, anyway.
I did all that nice conclusion a few minutes back too. And
Okay,
yeah.
I'll just cut all
She
this.
continued it.
No, we're not gonna cut all this. We're gonna keep going because this is part of our puckish charm.
Why don't we?
Part of our
Why don't we
Canadian charm.
do a literary merit of comics in the next?
We will do that soon.
Yeah.
Not a literary merit of just anything.
Literary merit of comics. So any comics, manga, comics, manhwa, French whatever was it, bande dessinée.
So that's another discussion for you guys to look forward to. But until then, I'm Dashat,
I'm Sam.
I'm Maya.
and we will see you when we see you.
See ya.